Hey guys, it's Slynk, back with another tutorial here. And in this tutorial I wanted to show you one way to make some natural organic sounding drum fills using a drum rack and an impulse. So my idea here is basically I have like all these drum samples that I recorded. Had a friend play some drums in a studio, and we took several takes of him just hitting the toms and the snares and whatever. Some of them I've compressed a little bit, and I wanted a good way to utilize all those samples at once. So my idea here is to fill an impulse with a few different samples, a few different takes of him hitting the tom, for example, like this. So we'll start with the toms, the high tom, and I've only got 5 takes of that, so I'm just going to fill the rest of the cells with the other ones again. And what you can see is, if I solo that channel, every time I press this square here, I'm only playing the first sample, and I wanted to randomly pick one and then play that sample. So easy way to do that is to just grab a random MIDI effect and throw that in before the impulse and turn the chance up to 100%. But now you can see sometimes when I'm clicking this, it doesn't actually trigger the impulse. And that's because the way impulse works is it works off a C major scale, actually. So really easy. We can just grab in a C major scale plugin here, and now every time we click this, it's going to choose a sample at random, which is really cool. And then we can just go ahead and name this cell high toms. But the other cool thing is, if we go through and here, let's actually just throw all this into a group, into an instrument rack. And what I'll do is, for every one of these cells, I'm going to map the panning random percentage to a macro knob. And I wish there was a faster way to do this. I don't believe there is, but you only have to set it up once. And I'll actually put a download for this rack once I finish making it in the description. So now when we turn this up a bit, you can hear that the toms are kind of panning all over the place. So you kind of have control over the random panning of the tom samples. And we can do the same thing with the pitch. And I found it sounds kind of good if you if you randomize the pitch of each sample slightly, which will give the toms, every time you hit the tom, it's going to sound a little bit different. And we should name this pitch random and pan random. And let's just go ahead and name this as well, high tom. Okay, so if we turn the pitch up, obviously that's a ridiculous amount of pitch randomization, but I found about 10% works good. And on the pan random, maybe 25%. And you can macro some other things like the decay controls for all the cells, maybe the time. I'm not really sure what you could do here. I haven't really experimented with it. I just came up with the idea. But what I might do is just cut here, and I'll come back and show you a finished rack. But that's the idea. And once you set this up, you can just hold control and drag that to a new cell, and then just fill this impulse up with different samples. So I'll be back in a minute and I'll show you what I've done. Cool. Alright, so check it out, guys. We're a drummer now. Or at least we can pretend to be one. It's a lot of fun. Definitely recommend messing around with this. Just noticed that the rim shot is a bit quiet. Now we've got everything macroed, we can just turn this up a bit. It's the global volume. And the kick was a little bit quiet as well. But we actually want to EQ this a little bit, just to take the very deep subs out of it, and maybe bring the... Yeah, we want it to be like a douche. And we probably don't want panning randomization on the kick, but a little bit of pitch randomization would be good. Usually when you're mixing drums, the kick would be centered, so we might do the same thing with the snare as well. But it's going to be really fun to pan some of these toms around. Like, let's put the low one over on the right a little bit. We'll do the mid in the middle, and we'll have the so now it sounds like a drum kit, and everything's all good. I think the cymbal is a bit loud. Yeah, we'll turn it down a little bit. And actually with the cymbal, I had 4 samples that were similar, and then another 4 samples that were a bit different. So every time you hit the cymbal, there's a chance that it'll be a different cymbal, which kind of takes a lot of the work out of designing sort of natural sounding drums. You know, it gets more complicated if you have 2 cymbals, and you've got to add more more MIDI information in. But anyways, maybe just to finish this off, as you can see, I've got a glue compressor just to stop any peaking. We'll just EQ out all the deep lows from about 80, 90 hertz and below. And let's have a listen to this in context with some of the drum loops that I'm designing for the sample pack. Not bad. Let's try this one. Yeah, and you can go in and adjust the velocity of some of these to give it a bit more, you know, variation. Maybe we'll delete this one. Yeah, and there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'll just hold control and drag that to a new cell, and I'll just delete all the samples out of here. And then we can go to our user library, and you can see I've already done it, but I can drag this into my user library, and then anytime I want to use that impulse randomizer rack, just drag it onto a cell, fill that guy up with samples, and boom, you're good to go. So I'll put a link in the description to download that rack. But thanks for watching, guys. Have a kick-ass day. Peace.